Hello everyone, today we're bringing you content from our Red Hat RCSA question bank. The question bank we're discussing here is the latest 2026 edition. We'll be going over solutions to the questions. The reason for this is that next year actually the version 9 of RCE, which is also the version 9 of RC, will be discontinued. The exams for this version will be completely stopped. So this is essentially the last year for this version, the very last year. The question bank is relatively stable, so if anyone wants to take the exam, you should seize this final opportunity. First of all, going forward, we will also be bringing you daily videos explaining different question banks for RCSA and RCE, so please continue to follow us for more updates. For today, on our first day, we'll start with something simple. We'll talk about our network configuration, as well as the configuration of our hostname, which is actually our first question. For the first question, we mainly need to modify two things. One is to change the hostname, and the other is to change our IP address information. All right, so first, let's open our virtual machine. Let's open the virtual machine first. That's right, you heard correctly. In our environment, we're using virtual machines, and even during the actual exam, you'll also be working on virtual machines. The only difference is that right now, we're practicing in our own computer environment, but during the exam, you'll actually be using a real Linux host within the exam environment to perform the operations. In the end, though, what we're working on are all virtual machines inside that environment. So the first step here is to enter our virtual machine. Enter the user password to log into the virtual machine. All right, now we've already remotely connected to our environment. We're now inside the remote virtual machine. So first, our initial step is, actually what we're doing is, for the entire question bank, we'll mainly be working with two virtual machines. The main focus is on operating these two virtual machines. In the first half, we'll primarily be working with the first virtual machine. So let's start by remotely connecting to our first virtual machine. Here you can directly use SSH to remotely connect. After we've connected remotely, this is the situation we're in. Next, what do we need to do? The first step is to configure the IP address. We need to first check what the current IP address is, right? Now here we have this IP information. In fact, the question mentions 4 configuration items: the IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and DNS server. We need to make some changes to all of these here. So let's go ahead and make the specific modifications. First, after connection modify, add the name of our network card. You can use autocomplete directly. There's no need to type out the whole thing. Next, we will manually, which means we will manually configure our network card information. Next, we set the IPv4 address, which is IPv4.address. As for the specific IP, just configure it according to the requirements in the question. Here, we have 172.25.25, 250, 100. All right, so for the subnet mask here, it's 24. For the gateway, it's IPv4.gateway, followed by 172.25.250.254. This is our gateway. As for DNS, it's IPv4.DNS, followed by 172.25.250.254. Finally, add an auto connect option to enable it at startup, and then we execute it, and then next we start our network card. Or you could say activate the network card. Either way is fine. Just use NMCLI connection up, followed by the name of our network card. After activating it here, you can easily try to reconnect again. Just go ahead and reconnect. Because just now, as you might have noticed, actually by default, the entire system has a pre-configured default SSH passwordless login setting already in place for you. Yes, there is such a setting, because as you can see, we just connected directly using this command, right? That's because the setup had already been done before. So at this point, after we've modified the IP, right, after we've activated this IP or brought up the network interface, we can see that the connection here has been disconnected. It's disconnected. Next, we need to specifically check after the connection is disconnected, right, whether our new IP can be used normally, right, whether it can function properly. Here, what can you do? Well, here we can first open a terminal, and then here we can just connect remotely. Yeah, just use SSH followed by our
Let's pause for a short announcement. Friends, if you're currently preparing for this ITification exam, or if you've been studying for a while but don't feel your preparation is very efficient. This is something you shouldn't miss. Our team has been focused on its certification dumps for 16 years, doing one thing consistently, organizing the most up-to-date, most exam accurate, and easiest to use dumps to help candidates pass their exams more efficiently. Our dumps closely follow official exam updates. They are stable, highly accurate, and well aligned with real exam questions, allowing you to prepare with more confidence while spending less time. If you'd like to get the dumps for this exam and pass the certification faster, you can contact us directly via WhatsApp or YouTube private messages. We're happy to explain the latest update dates, dump stability, exam policies in different countries, as well as any current purchase discounts. Everything is clear and transparent before you decide. We also place great importance on payment security and privacy protection. The entire purchasing process is simple and secure, with no unnecessary data collection. Your personal information and privacy are fully protected. In addition, we provide 24/7 consultation and after-sales support. Whether you're just getting started or running into issues right before the exam, our support team will patiently and professionally help you analyze and solve problems. You're never preparing alone. Beyond this specific exam, our dumps cover almost all major IT certification tracks. If you plan to pursue other IT certifications in the future, feel free to reach out anytime. We'll give recommendations based on your goals.
Of course, since I'm actually remotely accessing the real virtual environment here, I've set up a separate IP for this. But during the exam, you won't need to do this. In the exam, you can just right-click locally and open a new terminal. So here, let's first connect remotely. And how do we verify this as expected? Just use SSH followed by root at, and then the IP we just changed, 172.25.250.1xx. Just verify it like this, and if you can connect, it means our IP has been changed correctly. Okay, no problem, right? We've connected successfully. After connecting, there's another configuration, which is our host name, right? According to the requirements in the explanation, use hostname ectal set hostname. As for the name, well, the host name is usually quite long, usually pretty long. So here, according to the requirements in the question, we'll change the host name accordingly. Just go ahead and change it. After making the change, we can just go ahead. Press enter to execute. After executing it, verification is actually very simple, really simple. Just use SU to refresh and you'll see it's already changed, right? It's now become node 1. So that's basically the content of the first question. The main tasks are to change the IP, right? First, change the IP, and second, change our host name. Actually, verifying this change is very simple. As long as after you make the change, you can reconnect to this host using the new IP, that means you did it correctly. If you can't connect, then it's wrong, right? As for the host name, you can see it at a glance. So this is our main method for configuring these settings. Here, what you mainly need to pay attention to is the nmcli connection command. It is indeed a bit long, so you'll need to spend some time memorizing it. Of course, actually, there isn't only one solution. If you want to change the IP using other methods, that's totally fine too. It's not like there's only one way to do it. Actually, it's the same for all the following questions. There is absolutely not just one solution. The same question can have many different ways to solve it. As long as you meet the requirements of the question, that's enough. For this question, the requirement is just to change the host name, right? Or to change the IP address. As for how you change it specifically, I don't care. As long as you succeed in making the change, that's all that matters. Yeah, as long as you manage to change it successfully, that's the key point of our example question. Alright, so that's the first question of our RCIC. In the future, I'll continue to bring you explanations for the rest of the questions in the question bank. If you're interested, feel free to discuss in the comments below, especially if you need the question bank. You really need to act early on this. This is quite different from some of our previous question banks. With those earlier question banks, actually, first of all, even if there were version updates, the overall content of those question banks wouldn't change much. But this time, this year is the last year for version 9. Once the update happens soon, starting next year, it will be completely gone. You won't be able to take the exam at all. After that, it will be RNC 18 and so on. So if you need to pass the exam as soon as possible, feel free to communicate in the comments section below, okay? Or you can contact me directly, and in the future, we'll continue to provide explanations for other question banks as well. Alright, that's all for today. Goodbye, everyone.